Okay, recording was paused. Now we're recording. Sorry about that. So just to recap, we were doing some of the exercises that Dr. Tietze did in his video that we saw last week. We started with the glissando. We went up and back down, and slowly I asked you to go slowly enough that you were paying attention to what's happening with your breath. We did 3 of those, or I don't know how many you did. I did 3. Then we're doing, right now, we're in the process of doing these little humps. I can't remember the word he used because it didn't make sense to me. So we need our own name for these. Maybe somebody has a name like serpent's coils. No, I don't know. Okay, so you know what I mean though. Let's do that again. So. Yeah. Now, if you're at home, Peter and Joan and others, if you're at home and you don't have the straw and the glass, you can be doing this sort of thing with a v. You can do it like that. So like like that. And anyone also using the straw, you can take it out and do that as well. Any semi-occluded vertical vocal tract exercise where you're blocking the sound with a v or a z or n or whatever, any of those is useful also for training your voice in this way. All right, so we did the little humps, right? Now we're gonna do, what was I gonna do? We're gonna do, yes, we're gonna do some exercises first, I think. So there's a 5-note descending scale, and we'll start it in C major, so your high note will be a G. So da 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 da. We're going to do it on straw. Here we go. And here's the tempo. Sorry, I didn't set that. Here's 1, 2, 3, and go. Go up by a half step. Here we go. Up by a half step again. And one more. Now I want to point out something that I'm seeing from watching you do this a little bit as I'm doing it. And I'll tell you this by telling you a technique from wind instrument playing. In wind instruments, there is a tendency sometimes, so if you imagine this to be a saxophone maybe, right? Okay. There's a tendency to go to the instrument like this rather than bring the instrument to you like that, okay? So I've heard teachers of wind instruments, saxophones especially, you could just see saxophonists all like this, you know, right? So that's bad habit. So I've heard lots of teachers of instruments say, bring the instrument to you. And so when you're using your straw, bring the straw to you. Don't bring yourself to the straw like that. Okay, so put the cup where it needs to be, the glass, so that you don't have to move your head to do this. Okay, let's do it again. So here's another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and go. Going up. How are those neck muscles? Nice and relaxed. Lips and cheeks are relaxed too. And one more. Good. Now I'm not going especially high on these exercises. Where were we? There, we were there. That might be, okay, that was a C sharp for the high note, which is fine for this point in the rehearsal anyway. So just a straightforward 5-note descending scale doesn't require a lot of adjustments in terms of your pressure, in terms of your larynx, in terms of all that change from one pitch to another. So let's do some that gradually require more effort. Did somebody call my name? Okay, so somebody was speaking and I thought maybe they were asking for my attention. So let's do now one that's just a little bit more, requires a little bit more
Yeah.
thoughtful effort to make sure that you're keeping your tone consistent and your air consistent. And so that'll be a 5, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 7, 1 kind of exercise. But let's start it just a little bit lower. So we're going to start it here. Da, 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 da. Right, where are the places where you're going to need to think about your breath? And when you change the pitch, and especially when you go against gravity and go up.
Okay.
Here we go. 1, 2, bring it to you and go. Sorry. I surprised you and went half speed. Sorry about that. There's the tempo, and here's about fast it will go. 1, 2, 3, and go. And here. I want more time in between. So here, 2, 3, and go. And here, 2, 3, and ready. I'm curious if you're finding that your air bubbles are fairly consistent. Do you find that they change depending on the pitch, or depending on, are you inconsistent in terms of how much support you're using? Anybody want to comment?
Consistent.
Pardon? Say that again, Karen.
I said consistent. They're consistent.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good.
Adam?
That's what, yes.
I also find that doing that, if I focus on opening the resonating cavity, which is my palate, it really helps to do that instead of that.
Uh-huh. Pat,
Yeah.
would you like to demonstrate what that sounds like if you say something like that? If you say something.
You means, I can't do it. Say something.
Say something.
Say
There you go. Yes, Pat, that's good. Thank you.
It's hard to do.
But that was very good. Okay, now everybody, you're happily muted at home. Go ahead and do a, I'd like to experiment with what Pat's talking about here. So I would like you to say something open and spacious. You know, you could have Miss Piggy for your model, or Julia Child, or some British person, I don't know. You know, something large inside, lots of room. And now we'll do that with the straw. It doesn't have to be pitch particular. Just make it interesting. Okay. Now, as we sing the exercise once again, I'd like you to think about that, and I may be hamming it up just a little bit here. But so think about that space inside, and how does that change the pressure that you're using as you sing? Okay. All right, here we go. Let's go here. And there's our new pitch. 1, 2, fruity. And we'll go 1 more, 2, 3, and okay. Yes, how much time are we going to spend on this? This is great. I love it. But anyway, I don't want to take forever on it. So thank you, Pat, for that idea. And I'm interested also, I think people might find it interesting, as you go higher in your range or lower in your range, how does that change the feeling of pressure, and how does it change the feeling of spaciousness? Are you able to maintain that when you go higher? Do you find you want to close down? Or when you go lower, is it sometimes people might kind of check out a little bit and not pay attention and let things become heavy or pressed? So that's also, you might remember Dr. Tietze said, people press their voices, and that's something you want to avoid. So even though maybe you're trying to sing as fully as you can and make a good, full, rich sound, you don't want to do that by pressing on your voice and pressing down.
Mm-hmm.
So the straw helps with that as well. Now, one more exercise and then we'll do some other things, still with the straw, but not forever. I want to do some exercises that have greater leaps in them. So let's do this. Yeah, we're going to go 1, 5, 3, 5, 1. Let's see. About that speed. Yeah, okay. So with the straw, once again, we're going to go 1, 2. I'm going to sing it for you again. I see you all preparing with your straws and like, hurry, hurry, Adam. But no, that's okay. I'm going to take the time to do it right. So if we're at this tempo 2, it would be like this. 1, 5, 3, 5, 1. Okay, here we go. And of course, you're not trying to say 1, 5, 3, 5. You're just going, you're just phonating. 2, 3, and go. And here. And here. And here. Good. I'm going to stop for a minute. I'm finding, partly because I'm doing about 3 things at the same time, trying to snap and tell you when to come in and sing. I'm not entirely happy with my first interval from the root to the 5th there. It's not very smooth as I sing it, and you may be finding that for yourselves as well. It takes me a little bit more focused attention to be sure that that's smooth, and I'm a little distracted because of the other things I'm doing. So I'm going to just think about that for a minute. Let's all do this again. I'm going to see if I can improve it. Basically what happened is I felt like I didn't really reach that control. 5th degree, that 5, very smoothly or clearly. I didn't think that the tone stayed consistent from the bottom to the top. I thought there was a little drop in pressure, a drop in tone quality. Those are the kinds of things that I'm listening for myself, and that you want to listen for and feel for also. Be aware that you have different ways of experiencing your voice. One is through your ear, but another is through your body. So see what you can discover by feeling, and that's partly what the straw does for us.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Let's see a new pitch here. I don't know where we were. There's a D. This is in D, F sharp, A. So same tempo. Here we go. And here another one. And here's another one. And here one more. So the last 2 times we've done it, I've been thinking about what Pat was talking about and opening this space inside. And particularly as I approach the high note, I'm thinking about opening this space there. I'm not necessarily trying to open it more or awkwardly, but I am thinking, is that space staying open? And is that kind of like a capacity that I can sing into? Wow. So I think that's been a helpful thing for me. With that idea in mind, let's just do a couple more. And so you're going to think about that open space as you head into the high note on the second note. Da, 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 2, 3, and go. And here. And here. Going into a different place in your voice. And 1 more, 2 more. And here. Okay, that was getting challenging for me at the top there. What was the top pitch there? That's an F. Okay, so, and remember that the exercises, vocal exercises can be different. I'm wiping off my keyboard here from all the bubbles. Different kinds of exercises. Let's see. as you go into your higher range in different kinds of exercises, some of them are going to lend themselves to helping you with that, and some are going to challenge you. I think the one we just did is kind of a challenging exercise, is to get into that higher range. But I think it's also possibly rewarding, and it could be a helpful thing for us all long term. Me too. Before we leave this exercise, the point of it really was to get into an octave jump. So we're going to go back down so we won't be jumping way up there, and we'll go to, say, here. There's the B flat. Okay, so it's going to be like this. 1, 8, 3, 5, 1. I think I'm going to put those scale degrees in the chat so you can see that. 1, 8, 3, 5, 1. So first octave is the first jump, and that's going to require more energy, more focus, more. How do you make this adjustment happen?
Control.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and go. And here. Then here. And a few more. And here. And here. And here. Okay, so I want to know what that note was. That was an F again. Okay, so we jumped from F to F there, and oddly enough, I found that F easier to get at than the one that was a jump from the root to the fifth. So interesting. I'm just learning as we go. But I did. Oh, I also want to point out that for me, I've discovered that at times I let a little air escape around the straw through my mouth. And that's not a good thing, and that doesn't really teach me and help me understand about my vocal balance, the balance of vocal pressure. So just be aware you don't want to lose your air around the straw like I've been doing. You want to watch out for that. Yes, Wendy, go ahead.
Not everybody is muted, so maybe you could remind everybody to mute.
Yeah, or I can just mute everybody.
Yeah, you do it.
Yeah, okay, that's probably what I'll do. Okay. So I've just done that. Yeah, it's enough that it's a little distracting here. And it's funny because it doesn't have to be very much noise for it to be quite distracting. Okay, so anyway, let's see, to finish the thought, going up to the octave, I found it actually easier on the octave than on the fifth. And I wasn't having any trouble with the F, or I could have gone higher and been pretty comfortable. So now let's think about this. Altos, sopranos, as you're in the song Sing On, and you're singing, sing it from your heart. That was the wrong key. Sing it from your heart, right? So, that's the interval we were just working on. Now, as you go up to that, it's an easier approach, actually, than the one we did. It's not an octave jump. It's 5, 6, 7, 8. That can be easier in some ways. And luckily, I think Lane Johnson, the composer, did a good job in how he set those words so that they feel comfortable. At least for me, they feel comfortable to sing. The words that he chose, the way that he set them, don't work against my ability to sing up to that higher note. They help me through that process, I think. And I think that can be true for a lot of the altos and sopranos, anybody who's having trouble with this. So I wanted to actually apply that here with this very phrase. And I don't know if you need to look at your music. If you do, that's fine. That would be on page 15 of Sing On. But that's the only phrase we're going to do right now. And I really welcome tenors and basses to sing it also. Practice this technique, apply this straw phonation to actual music, see how it applies in your voice. So here's the B flat of Sing It From, but we're going to go down a step Here's an A flat. Sing it from your heart. Gonna do it on straw. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna give you 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, and let's see, sing it from your heart. Yeah, we might go back a phrase before that too, but for now, sing it from your heart again, and same pitch, and 1, 2. Now I'm finding that from your heart, that interval is feeling pretty easy for me right now. And I think it's not hard usually, but I feel like I'm handling it better because I've spent so much time strophonating it to find out what's the best degree of pressure I can apply to that phrase. Let's do it again. And go up a half step, sing it from, then 3, 4, 1, 2. I may not have made it clear for anyone who doesn't know this phrase intimately. It comes in on the end of 2, so it's 1, 2, sing, or it comes on 3. 1, 2, sing it from. But I need you to have a little bit more time to figure out where the beat is. That's why I'm giving you a 3, 4 before. Here we go. This is the same thing. And 3, 4, 1, 2. And 1, 2. And another one. And without actually going back down to this one. 1, 2. And now on words. 1, 2. Sing it from your heart. And I think we're a half step lower. We need to be. Yep. And here's the real key. And 1, 2. Sing it from your heart. Now, thinking about the technique of the actual words, put the straw aside for the moment. Do you notice how it gathers the sound from, pops the sound out? Sing it from. You can overdo it. I just overdid it a little bit there. Okay, but you can use that as kind of a helpful thing for you altos and sopranos to kind of gather your energy just before you release it into the from. Now, there is the possibility your voice might crack and wobble and whatever. So that's where the straw phonation, I think, comes in, because you probably are not going to crack or wobble as much when you do it that way. So let that be a kind of a guide for you. Then you come back to the real key and the real words. And 1, 2. Sing it from your heart. Now let's go back a phrase. Sing on, sing on. That's the phrase before. Comes in on the second beat of the measure. So here's 3, 4, and 1. Sing on, sing on. Sing it from your heart till the day is gone. Okay, good. So, curious, I'd like some feedback at this point. Is this helping anybody with that phrase? Is it not helping yet? What can we do?
That helps.
That helps? Good?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Ra 97. I'm not sure. Is that Ruth Haynes? Ra. Ra, ra, ra. 97, go. Okay. Okay, good. So I'm glad that exercise is helping. That's good. I really want to I want to change Ra 97's name so that we know who that is, but Ra 97 hasn't identified themselves that way yet. So we'll move on. Okay. So altos, think about that. There are other things we can do. Keep me posted, please. If and some of you have let me know that you're having a hard time with that. That's good. Keep me posted if it's improved after you work on this some more. Keep me posted if there are other aspects of the line which cause you difficulty, like the consonants, for example, or the vowel on that high note of an E flat, that kind of thing. Because we can address each one of those things one at a time. Karen, yes, go ahead. You are muted, Karen, so you need to unmute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was just thinking breath control, when we're going up and down. That's very major, I think. At least it is for me, to get from there to there.
So are you speaking of this
easily.
This specific phrase in the song, or give me more context? Tell me more.
Well, I was thinking of this phrase in the song in particular, but other things that we've done. And when, as a soprano, if you want to get from there to there, and you kind of build into it, and it helps to get your breath under control. I'm just thinking, I took voice lessons for a long time in my life, and that's one of the things I learned.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Excellent.
all. Does that make sense, sort of, Alan?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm gonna, let's see, I'm going to shift now to, I don't even remember what I said in my email about what was first, Betelehemu or Sing On. Do you remember? Anybody?
It is Sing On.
Sing On. Okay, so we'll keep going with Sing On then for a while. Sopranos. Last week I did ups and downs and in-betweens with everybody else, and I didn't do your ups and downs and in-betweens on your own part. So let's go to that spot, everybody, in the song, and we'll work on that. That's page 12.
12, yeah.
Music. Okay.
13, 12, yeah.
Yeah, we'll start on the bottom of page 12. So
yes.
First of all, sopranos, since this is now your ball game, I'm going to read your part in rhythm and have you speak along with me in rhythm. I'm curious, I would like to know if any of you find that you struggle with that rhythm and there's a place you need to work in more depth on. So let me know about that after we do it. Here we go, sunrise and sunset. I'm going to go a little slower than our usual tempo. So 1, about that speed. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Okay, that's it. Let's do it again. See how you do. Sunrise, 2, 3, and 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. All right, now I did ask if anybody has any spots in their sopranos that you're struggling with. I'm looking for hands up raised to ask me to work on that. And I'm not seeing anything, so it sounds like you're probably okay. Let's go a little bit faster then. So sunrise and sunset, about that speed. 2, 3, 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. Good. Now we'll switch over to the alto, tenor, and bass part. Speak your rhythm. Sopranos, go ahead and feel free to speak against me on your part if you feel comfortable with that. Okay, letter E, same spot. 2, but now alto, tenor, bass. 2, sorry, gonna slow it down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sunrise and sunset, life will always rise and fall. Ups and downs and in-betweens, it happens to us all. So keep your music flowing strong. We'll go on. You'll find a way to carry on. And we'll stop there. All right, I'm going to scan altos, tenors, basses. Hands up if there are any spots in there that need work that you want to look at more specifically. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands up. That's good. Okay, so I'm figuring that those spots are fine. Let's go back actually though one more time to letter E and speak it again. Altos, tenors, sopranos, basses, everybody speak it. Let's go back 2 measures. Sing on, pick up to the bottom of page 12. So 1, oh wait, Brian, question? You're muted.
The spot that I'm still tripping on the spot that we aren't changing.
Happens.
Yeah. Go wrong.
I know. You know, even I'm going to tell you, even today, I thought, well, I could email the composer. So here's my thinking, right? Here's the main reason why I'm not changing that. whereas I was going to, what I did in the spring. When we were singing it in the spring, we were going to do 2 live performances, not record it, and nobody would ever know that we changed the music. Now, I'm not afraid of us getting caught. I don't think anybody would do anything. But if we're on a recording, and this recording has the potential to become, well, the world might be interested in listening to this recording. And so if that's the case, I want us to actually do the notes that the composer put in his sheet music. So that's why I changed it back to the way it is written in the sheet music. However, as I was just saying, even today, I was thinking I could email the composer and ask him, can we change that rhythm and get approval and go back and change all the click tracks and all the video click tracks and all that? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. So it is what it is. Okay, let's go with it. Let's go from the top of 12, pick up to the bottom of 12, all parts speaking together. Sing on. 1, 2, 3. Sing on. Sunrise, sunrise and sunset. Life will always rise and fall, ups and downs and in betweens. It happens to us all. So keep your music going strong. Now, my personal error there is I always say going instead of flowing. So you might mark that for yourselves. I probably did that somewhere on a practice guide too. So if I say going, you go with the music, not me. Do what I say, not what I do, right? Top of 13, ups and downs and in-betweens. Let's just do a little bit of work on that spot. Happens to us all. Can you do it? Can you speak it? Happens to us all, with that sort of inflection. 2, just that, and go. Happens to us all again. Happens to us all once again. Happens to us all. Okay, good. Ups and downs. Back a measure. Here we go. Ups and downs and in-betweens. It happens to us all. Good. Notice I'm still keeping the inflection that we worked to get to keep my sense of the flow of the momentum. That's what that pitch helps me for, is da 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 da. Where's the stress? That's the thing about the line that unfortunately I think Lane Johnson didn't write it very well there, because we're stressing syllables in the words that don't usually get stressed. We don't say happens. Well, yes, happens. We can say happens. That's what can sound more natural. Happens to us all. That's the way we had changed it in the spring. So you have to go with what the composer wrote. Have to go with, even though it feels a little odd, you start to discover, okay, well, if I do it about 80 times this way, then it'll start to feel natural that way. So put the time in. Okay, I think that's probably good for that section. And let me review my notes here. We need a break? We probably need a break. So let's take a 5-minute break, and then I'll put my head together and see what's happening next. Okay.
One interesting thing, Adam, is we're not home with our usual normal straws. All we have is the little coffee straws, little 16th of an inch coffee straws. I can't get any information out of this at all. There's air, but it still feels like a hum. It doesn't feel like the other straws do. So there's a remarkable difference in the little, for me, in the little straw.
Yeah, and I'm thinking probably that one is just too small, and that's probably not actually going to help you much. If it's that hard to sing through, then probably it's like, okay, need a slightly bigger diameter then. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, the straw off of a Capri Sun or one of those kids' juice drinks pouches probably would be the in-between size for a small straw you could phonate through.
Interesting. Yeah.
Haven't had those
Sorry, Brian, I missed that.
we haven't had those in the house in a long time.
Mhm.
Of course, we probably will. We got, with the grandkids getting old enough to break them, it'll probably happen.
Well, I do have a gross of straws, if anyone. I can send them out one by one to each person.
We're fine.
Oops. Okay.
Adam,
Yes.
do you have any words of wisdom on how to pronounce carry? It just sounds ugly in measure 62.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Find a way to carry. Yeah. I'm thinking about that. Well, have you experimented with modifying the vowel towards a darker carry? You might
tried it.
Yeah. You might try that. Because remember that, I mean, I do go after vowel blend in rehearsals. You know that we've done that over the years.
Right.
But even so, I know that there's always going to be a variety of vowels coming out of any given section. So we can start from that point, figuring that that's going to be happening. And if people want to modify that vowel a little bit to help them on it, then that certainly is fine. So I would say experiment with that, see if that helps you, because when I think about carry for me, and tightening up and jaw, throat closing, that's what I think of when I think of that vowel. So I'm thinking, okay, let me see here. I'm just going to go ahead and start continuing on with your conversation, your question, and then people will come in, and as they come in, I'm just looking for the right pitch. You'll find a way to carry on. For me, it's the re. See, there's a certain amount of fear for re, like that's going to be bad, and then that messes up my carry. So let me see. Let me try that again. You'll find a way to carry on. That's better. I'm still not really happy with the re, but that's my particular issue. You might you'll find a way to carry on. At that time, I let the ca and the re be modified by a little bit more open space. I don't know. Maybe I'll go back and I'll observe this video and I'll see at that point, oh, that's what I did. Oh my gosh, or I'll say, okay, I see that I tightened my neck possibly when I sang that. That's one good thing about these video things is you can always go back and see. I can go back and see with what I sang, what I was doing physically at the time too, which is a really good diagnostic. All right, well, I don't know if that really answers your question, but should we sing that section, everybody? Let's go ahead and sing that. Altos, tenors, altos, tenors, sopranos have that moment. This is from the bottom of page 13, the last note of page 13 to the top of page 14. You'll find a way. For the altos, when I sang your part on the practice guides, it was like, you'll find a way. It's like way down there. So you have a different issue than the sopranos and the tenors do. So, you know, you're welcome to sing along, and you may not have this problems with this phrase or your other different problems. So let me see, you'll find the C, and if you just joined us, we were talking, Lee was asking the question about what the vowel for carry might be other than kind of an that's closed and tight. So we were experimenting with how I might change that vowel quality to help me get through the line and to get a better sound on carry. So let's experiment with that this now. One, you'll find, 1, 2, 3, and you'll find a way to carry on. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to pull out the straw phonation again, because I can feel myself change the amount of pressure that I put. I put on the gas a little heavily on carry, and I didn't like what I did there. So I want to see what I can do with straw phonation. So 1, 2, 3. Suddenly I find it's a lot lighter. I was using a lot of pressure before. Let's see what happens if I sing that again. So with the words 1, 2, 3, you'll find a way to carry on. Okay, personally, I'm becoming a fan of this. The straw phonation, I realized when I sang with the straw that I'd put a lot of pressure on the high note, the higher note, carry. And I really think that somehow, I don't even know how this is possible, but it seemed like the lightness that I brought to the higher note also affected the notes before I even sang that one, so that the totality of the phrase felt lighter and freer and easier for me. So I'm going to suggest you experiment. If you're having trouble with that phrase, experiment with the straw phonation, experiment with changing the vowel, and experiment with larger space in your mouth, open space, that kind of thing, and see if those things help you. The other thing about doing it with the straw is that I felt like I was using less air. The phrase doesn't worry me in terms of how much air I need to sing it. It's not that long a phrase, but it still felt like I was more economical in the way that I was using my air, and that's a benefit too. So, okay, now I had a few things that I had said that I wanted to do, and I skipped over those. The first one being October birthdays. So, let's have an October happy birthday. And can I see the hands raised? Oh, thank you, Pat. She's got a happy birthday card for people. Wendy's happy birthday, not me. I'm demonstrating raising hands. Who else is that? Kelly. So, okay, Mark is, sorry. All right, Kelly, that's all I see. So I only see Kelly and Wendy. And anybody else, let me know. Tell me out loud. Okay, so we're not going to do the straw phonation happy birthday this time.
Sheila.
What's that?
Sheila has her hand up.
Sheila, I missed it. Sometimes I miss those hands. Okay, so we're going to type it. We're going to type it in here. Sheila, Wendy, Kelly, birthdays. Anybody else? All right, good. All right, so we're not going to straw phonate our happy birthday this time, but I thought we might do like a drone kind of a birthday thing. I don't know. I'm experimenting here. So last time we're gonna do it in B flat. So happy birthday. If you want to do it on your straw, you can. But I'm gonna just sing do, and you're all gonna sing that B flat to me. Sing it back to me. Sing all right, good. Let's sing. All right, good. Here we go. I'm going to conduct it. We'll sing it together. It'll be a cacophony, and we're going to sing it to Happy Birthday, dear Sheila, Wendy, and Kelly, or whatever order you want to put in. Here we go. 1 and 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Wendy, Sheila, and Kelly. Happy birthday to you.
Good. There you go. Happy birthday for October birthdays. And we'll do it again when we hit November or December. Okay, good. So, yes, question?
Adam, this is Peggy.
Peggy.
I'd like to just say one quick treasure thing for the group.
Okay.
I just picked up the mail today. So I've got all the mail up to this point, all your checks and stuff. So this week I will be getting them deposited, and my plan is to send you a receipt so you know that I have in fact received it.
Thank you, Peggy. Okay. We have a board meeting tomorrow, and just various things on the agenda, nothing crucial, but good things to talk about. So we'll report back after that. Let's see. I wanted to do a pitch coalesce. I want to experiment a little bit with Zoom and see what we can do and what we can't do and what works well and what doesn't. So a pitch coalesce. Do you remember we did that when we were meeting together in the rooms? And it's you start on whatever pitch you want to, and you come together over the course of a few seconds till we reach the same pitch together. So we have coalesced from a variety of pitches into one. And my theory is that that might be something that works on Zoom. It might lend itself sort of to that. So let's experiment with that. I'm just curious what we'll find. Let's do it on a D, I think. That's the pitch, or that's the pitch for the women. And actually, we're going to do this separately. So we're going to do the women, sopranos and altos, any tenor female who wants to sing up there. Okay, that's where we're getting to, right? That's where you end up. You can start higher, you can start lower, but don't start on that pitch, go to that pitch. So if I gave you 4 counts to do it, I'm going to demonstrate what that would be like. It would like, right, by the 5th count, I have reached that pitch. We should all have an agreement about the vowel. Let's do it on ooh, actually. So here we go, sopranos, altos, female tenor singing up here. Okay, there we go. So 2, 3, here we go. Start on 1. Okay, let's do this again. Do this again. Stop. Stop. Thank you. So let's review those instructions, shall we? So the first instruction is you start on any pitch other than the one we're coming to, right? You start on a higher note, on a lower note, oh, and then you slide, you glide your way up or down to that pitch, which means, yes, that I'm hearing people doing this. That's the right thing. So now the idea is that we'll have a cacophony at the beginning, a total mishmash of sound. And by the time we get to that 5th count, when we're holding a fermata and you continue to sing, we should all be singing the same pitch. Can we match pitch over Zoom? That's part of the goal, okay? So let's experiment with this though. All sopranos and altos and female tenors singing in this range. Sing any pitch you want right now. That's not that pitch. Any other pitch that's going to be your beginning pitch. Go. Good. Okay. Now, all right. Now that wasn't it. Stop. Stop. Okay. Now we're going to start there. Count over 4 beats, and on the 5th beat, you're going to have arrived at that pitch. And you start wherever your random spot is, okay? Here we go. Ready? And 1. Okay, that's the idea. Sopranos, I want you to come down here. Okay, I want everybody to be down here by the time they finish. Stop. Stop, Karen. Thank you. Okay, good.
Sorry.
Yeah, Zoom reveals who it is, right? If you're singing. Okay. All right, we need more time for this coalesce to happen. And tenors and basses, you're going to be on the hook here very shortly. So you're learning from their experience, aren't you? Yes, yes. That word was not going to come out of my mouth, but anyway. So anyway, right, so I'm going to give you 8 counts this time. Go ahead again, ladies, soprano, alto, tenors in this range. Start anywhere. Over 8 counts, come down and hold. Okay, here we go. 3 and 1. Okay. So, all right, interesting. Still, I thought I heard some of this going on, and my intention is it's just like one line going directly to the pitch that I'm wanting. It's a little harder to demonstrate that in Zoom land. All right, tenors, basses. Let's see what happens if we try that. Here's your ending pitch. No, we're going to do that differently because that's going to leave the alto, the female tenors out. It's going to be too low for them. So tenors and basses, here's a different pitch we're heading for. And that, I think, will be here. There, it'll be this is your final note. Tenors and basses, sing with me on this note. Now match this pitch on O. Go. O. Good. Check your neck, check your body. Are you tightening your neck? Oh, no. Good. Now, I will demonstrate. Thank you. Stop. I will demonstrate what I want you to do. This is just one example. Might be, oh. Let me do that again with counting. Oh. Or, oh. Oops, I went past it. Okay, but you get the idea. Start higher, start lower. Over the course of 4 counts, come to this final pitch and hold it. So we're all matching on that pitch, basses and tenors. 2. Here we go. And good. All right. Remember what quality of O you're going to sing. Easy throat, easy face, easy neck. Again, this time over 8 counts. Tenors and basses are doing a better job at this. They're figuring it out. Okay. All right. Here we go. 8 counts. 2, 3, starting. All right. Good. Stop. Yes. All right. So that was fairly successful. I'd like to do it one more time with everybody singing. You can choose any one of these pitches, this one or this one. There's the D, there's the A. Could be either one of those 5th, right? Okay. So start on any pitch other than those pitches. Glide together to find that pitch, to find one of those D's or A's and tune it up. Okay. Here we go. We'll do it over 8 counts. 2, 3, and. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, good. So that means stop. You know, you remember that signal? It's like, I've been doing that for years. Okay, good. So that, thank you for your indulgence on that experiment. I'm curious to know what you'll say. Like, don't ever do that again, Adam. Or, oh, I learned some interesting things from this. Okay, but we need to move on. So, let's see. So sing on. Before we leave that, now let me ask this first. Tenors, basses. I haven't addressed any spots for you today. Do you have specific requests for places you would like to look at? I have one idea at least in mind, but I will do precedence for what you want. I'm looking for waving hands, or I'm listening for somebody to say, hey, Adam, I'd like to do. Okay, so we're going to do the ah parts, like page 7, for example. We're going to start on page 6, heading into page 7. And flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone is where we'll start. I'm going to sing the tenor part here just to get us situated. At page 6, second measure, top score, second measure. That's to be like this. flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Sing on. Okay, that's the section we're going to cover right now. We'll do that again. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's do it again, and I'm going to sing the bass part this time. You're welcome to just listen, or you're welcome to sing along, although I'm going to mute everybody here. Okay, so you're welcome to sing along on this bass part, or you're welcome to just listen. So basses, here are your first two pitches. You start on a C, flowing from your heart. There's a fifth jump. It takes a little bit of focused energy to make sure you make that transition smoothly, because heart is not a word that helps you sing. It's a word that encourages you to lose track of your air support. Listen, flowing from your heart until, that's not real well done, but I wanted to show you what you could do badly. So flowing from your heart would be more controlled. Let's do that together. 2, 3, and flowing from your heart until the day is past and gone. Jump up here. Sing on. Okay, so the point of doing this, there are several reasons to do this section for the tenors and basses. One of them, at the top of page 7, is to make sure a couple things. First of all, that A flat is hard to tune. I had a hard time with that when I was recording practice guides. Second, you really got to get all the way back up to that B flat at the bottom of page 7 so that that's not out of tune. This line has the potential to be really draggy and lose momentum, lose vowel quality, and we want to make sure that it doesn't. So I'm trying not to demonstrate bad singing. I don't know if you remember, but a year or so ago I was having vocal issues, and I started to realize that part of the problem was I had been spending years singing badly for choirs to demonstrate what not to do, and it was taking a toll on my voice. Every time I did it badly, it was causing me a little bit of problems. So when I did that constantly, it was just not a good thing. Problem is, how can you identify what the possibilities are of ways you can do it badly if you never hear them? So I don't have a complete answer for that, but what I can do is I can sing it well for you. At least I can try to. So as we sing that ah, we want to keep that quality of ah-ness, that spaciousness that we talked about with Pat earlier, and her suggestion of space inside. So, but not too much so that you get tight and tense about it. Let's do this. Let's find this B flat again. Make sure we're good still. So I'm going to start right on the top of page 7, and I'm going to do this ah out of context. Tenors and basses, sing that with me and see if you can keep your ah vibrant and interesting and energized all the way through. Here we go. Top of 7, 2, 3. Ah, sing on. Good. I'm curious if anybody wants to report about how they did, or any questions or things that went well or did not. Looking for hands, listening. All right, that's fine. I felt good about that time. It seemed like I had a momentum, and I tried to find this momentum when I sang the practice guides for you all, each time heading to that A natural and then heading to the B flat. So I'll demonstrate again. So it's like, he's got it written in with that crescendo, but I like to think of it really as more momentum than dynamics. It has more to do with the quality of your tone and the feeling of arrival than a particular dynamic. So if you can feel that as you're singing, then probably your vocal part when you record this section is going to be fine. But then the basses, there is one other issue. Tenors, for you at the bottom of page 6, jumping to the top of page 7 is not such a big deal because day is past and gone. You're singing the 7th in that chord at the bottom of page 6, and you just jump up a minor second. It's really easy. Whereas the basses, day is past and gone, down to the low B flat, octave jump up to the ah. This is not easy, basses. Okay, so let's do that right now. Basses, bottom of page 6, we're going to sing day is past and gone. Jump in into the middle of the phrase, and your focus is going to be letting go of gone, releasing, pinpointing, seeing in your mind, hearing in your mind where that higher B flat is, so you can jump up to that really accurately. Here's day is past. Let's do day is past. 2, 3, and go. Day is past and gone. Sing on. Okay, so you can go back and rehearse this spot. You know that these videos are online, right? We have access to that. I'll ask you again about that in a minute. So basically, anytime we do work like this in a rehearsal, you can go back to the video and go back to that spot and play it as many times as you want and practice it as many times as you want. So basses, I'll call that good and tenors for that section. And we'll find out when you send me your recordings how well it's working for you. Okay, so let's do this now. I'm going to ask you all to pull out your phones. And in my email, I said, please have your phones handy so that you can practice the process of recording yourself. And so we're going to do that now. Okay, so it looks like people are basically ready for that. So in my case, I'm going to pull up Voice Record Pro, and that will be the app that I use for today for this purpose. Okay, and now I want to share my screen with you and show you some things that I put up in the last couple days. I was able to finish the video click tracks for the Sing On. And by the way, I wanted to point out something that I'm doing consciously. Every time I write something in an email or on the website, I'm capitalizing things a lot. Video click track. I feel like putting TM after that, but it's not about that. I'm not claiming ownership, but what I'm doing is I'm pointing out that there is a very specific thing that's called a video click track. At least that's the words we're using for it, so that when I talk about that item, the video click track, you know what I'm talking about. And the audio click track, of course, is the same thing without the video part. So this is what I put up on the website. And so now I'm going to share my screen with you and go take you there so you can see what we're looking at. Some of you have already started to use that. Okay, you know this screen. Are we seeing the Fall 2020 Music Guides and Study? Okay, good. Thank you for the thumbs up. So here are the video click tracks for Sing On. And let's see, look at these instructions, read them. But yes, I should talk to you about them right now. So you need a device playing the video, you need a set of headphones, you need a device to record yourself, and you need your sheet music. Those 4 things need to be in place. The headphones need to be loud enough that you can hear, even if you've got one headphone off, you can still hear it through your headphone on the other side while you're singing. If you drown the headphones out while you're singing, you can turn it up the volume some, but you want to be careful that at some point you're going to get a fair amount of sound coming out of this headphone. So a little bit of coverage on your ear can be helpful. I know some people are talking about using earbuds. I'm not sure how well that works yet. I think we're going to have to find out if you get a little tinny sound coming from your other earbud that's not in your ear. That comes into the recording. We'll find out. Okay, so experiment with having just one side of your headphones on and leave the other off. I don't know if I sent this out yet. I've been talking to people about how they hear themselves. Oh yes, that's on another page. We've talked about this before, but I'll reiterate this. When you hear yourself on a recording, you are not hearing the same fullness and richness of your voice that you hear through your head. Because through your head, you have the bones transmitting low pitches and rich, low resonant tones that the recording doesn't pick up. So when you hear the recording of your voice, you're not getting those low, rich tones, and your voice sounds thinner and tinny and not the same as you're used to it. This is the way it is for everybody. So you just have to get used to that and know that what we're hearing on the recording is really your voice, and you can do things to improve it, right, to make your sound fuller and richer, but basically that is what we're working with. Okay. So I want to show you just we're actually going to use, I think we'll use the tenor here for a little bit to start. I'm going to have the tenors and basses practice recording their part first, and then we'll go over to the alto and soprano, and we can do a little bit easier. So here at the beginning, if I play this, and now I want to make this full screen, here is the video click track for tenors for Sing On. You can use this video click track to guide you through the process of singing your recording for submission to me. Before you start singing, you need to have several things in place. You need to have a device to play this video. You need to have headphones that you can listen to this audio through. And you need to have another device to record you singing. So when you have all those three things ready, plus your sheet music, we'll go ahead. So I have my voice record now pro ready. Start your recording device. I'm going to start recording right now. And now we'll start the video click track. Oh, and for mine I have to press it twice, so now it's recording.
Here's the tenor part.
And here we're going.
First two pitches are...
Tenors and basses are ready to sing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sometimes when I chance to catch the sunrise, rising o'er the eastern range, something inside me winds up singing. Something inside me is changed. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We'll stop there actually. All right, because the basses don't sing that ooh part. So now I'm going to stop my recording. And I'm going to, in Voice Record Pro, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to change the name, rename the file, and I'm going to call it singon_tenor_Adam. Okay, and this is in the instructions also. And then I'm going to send it, I'm going to share it and send it by email to me, to Adam, whatever. You get the idea. Okay, and that's basically what there is. Now, I would like to unshare here for a moment, and I want to see tenors and basses who just did that. Did it work for you? Did you have trouble? What can you tell me? I'm looking for hands. Okay, yes, Brian.
Is there, so I recorded it. I see that I've got 0.29 megabytes, only 32 seconds, but I don't see an option to just save it on the phone. It's saved to Google, saved to Dropbox, OneDrive, iCloud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see just how to plain save it.
So,
I have a comment there.
Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was just going to say, if you're using Voice Record Pro on an Apple device, you don't have to do anything to save it. Once you, it saves automatically to your device. Then, if you want to send it by email or save it to a photo album or save it to Dropbox, that's a separate step that you can do. But it's automatically saved right now once you've completed the recording.
That's correct.
So I just have to go find it in the audio file somewhere.
Yeah, there's a little arrow at the very top left, and if you touch that arrow, it'll take you back to a list of all your recordings.
Yep.
Okay, good.
And so it's right there.
I think that answered your question then, Brian?
Yep, I'll just figure out how to rename it.
Yes, okay.
Yes, you have to scroll down to there's a place about halfway down, a long list of actions, and you'll get to one that says rename, and it'll bring you up. And then you have to delete there's a bunch of numbers that they've named the file, and then you just delete those and type in,
that's right,
sing on _ Adam.
Okay, now I'm going to go back, and I realized kind of part way. Oh wait, sorry. Any other questions? Any other guys wanting to report things? Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't press the record button hard enough, so I didn't get a recording. So you got to make sure you get a good solid press and watch it counting.
Okay, thank you. That's good
advice. Don't knock your phone over either.
Yeah, yeah. All those things have certainly been done. Yes. Okay. It did occur to me after we were in the process that I could have just told the women, okay, go ahead and you record it this time too, because after all, when you record Sing On, ladies, sopranos and altos, you're going to start right at the beginning, just like we just did, and you're going to sit and wait for 30 seconds until your part comes in. Let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, so sopranos and altos, this is your time through. This. Okay, and I'm going to go back out of the tenor one, and I'm going to go into the alto. So Sing On Video Click Track Alto, I'm going to expand that to full size. Meanwhile, hello, this is the video click track for the altos for Sing On. You can use this video click track to guide you in recording your part tones so that you're listening through headphones to record. Also, you need your sheet music. When you have all those items together, you can go ahead. Yeah. Please ignore my mouthing the words here. I deleted the audio. Basically, you can start your recorder anytime, and we're going to go ahead and go all the way through the music of the introductory part with the tenors and basses, so you'll catch up later, altos. So what you're not hearing, rising o'er the eastern range, right? You're not hearing the tenor bass part.
Altos, here's your first pitch.
First pitch is pretty quiet. It's
3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Stop there. So, I'm going to stop sharing also. Sopranos and altos, theoretically you were recording that time, and now you would also have that time. You would take the moment now to change the name of your file to Sing On _ alto _ your name, or soprano if you were singing the soprano part, and then you would send that to me. And as we were learning with Brian, you don't have to save that to somewhere else than on your phone, although it might be a good idea to back up these recordings just in case something happens when it's on its way to me. So don't delete these files after you send them to me. Hang on to them for a little while. And if you want to save them somewhere in a place that works for you better than your phone, say if you're running out of room on your phone, then those other places are places that you can save them. And if you need help with that, we can talk about that, but I won't go into that now. So, sopranos, altos, I'm looking at you. Any questions or thoughts or difficulties, or how did that work for you? Thumbs up, thank you, that's good to see. Okay. So it looks like, people are doing pretty well with this. It's funny because I got to tell you, I keep getting these emails from different chorale members saying, oh, okay, well now I think maybe I can do this. It's like, but then when I see you here on the videos, I'm not seeing any indications that people are not sure they can do this. So you might not be showing me that, but my feeling is it looks like we're in good shape. It looks like we can do this. So, yes, Pat, go ahead.
I learned that you shouldn't hum along with the tenors before your part comes in.
And why would that be?
Because it sounds pretty awful on the tape.
Well, that's not necessarily a problem. I mean, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Pat, because on one hand, it may not, you may not end up with something usable. On the other hand, you might, and I might just say, hey, I think I'm going to make you a tenor, Pat, you know, just for now. But more likely, I'll just cut that part out of your recording. But what it does for you is it gets your voice moving. So it's not like the first sound you make is, oh, you know, like that. So you actually been singing a little bit in preparation. You have to clear the space enough, the audio space enough, so that you're not like something inside me is changed. Ooh, you wouldn't want to do that, because that will make it harder for me to cut out the part that that I don't want to use for the recording. So anyway, the point is, yes, go ahead and sing with other parts if it helps you to keep your voice moving, and don't worry about the post-production. I'll cut it out there. Okay, other thoughts, other questions? Okay.
I have one.
Okay, go ahead.
I know we talked about it a little bit, but I don't remember. Does it matter what format we use? Because I had like I think there was MP3 and M4A.
Yeah, those are both good. Wave is good. There, occasionally people will make weird formats like OGG. I don't even know what that means exactly, but I have, with students in the past, I've converted OGG files into something I could use in GarageBand or Logic. So I think I might have mentioned to you all at one point, I had a student last quarter who sent me videos of her recording. I didn't want her to, and I asked her to not, but she was not quite getting that, so that's okay. So I extracted the audio from her video recordings and just made use of that, and that worked out fine for me. So it wasn't a big deal, just a little more work for me. So if your standard file formats, MP3, WAV, M4A, those are all going to be good options for you. I'm going to write those down. MP3, WAV, M4A, those are all formats that are certainly acceptable. And also, the thing about a WAV version, a WAV file, is those are going to be larger files than the MP3 versions are. So if you find that you're having trouble emailing me something that is too big, you could go back and record it again in MP3, or you might just start with MP3. The thing is, all right, let me get on my soapbox and not soapbox exactly, but my lecture box. Briefly, recording technology since the earliest days of recording has always limited artists in what they can do. I think I've talked to you all about this. I'm sure I have, actually, so I'll cut it even shorter. But when we talk about 78 records and 33 and a third long playing records and 45s and cassette tapes and CDs, all of those had a certain limitation in terms of how much length of time you could put on your recording. Actually, this was amazing for me to discover in the early days of recording, because there was so little time on the gramophone, the records that were made for the gramophones. Sometimes they would play classical music at a faster tempo than it was actually supposed to go, so that they could fit it on the record. And so when people heard those same pieces in concert, they were much slower, and it's like, they're playing it wrong, you know. So it's a kind of a strange thing about how technology can wag the tail of the dog, or the tail wagging the dog, you know what I mean. So anyway, here we are now in this era when the formats are not, they're not actual physical formats, they're digital formats. But we still have the issue about limitations in terms of what you can do in a certain file size. Now, it's not really about length, it's about the quality of the data that's included in the file. The more audio data that's included, the more quality you're going to get of your recording. And an MP3 is notorious for stripping out a lot of the audio quality, whereas a WAV file has more of it still included. That's why a WAV file is a much larger file than an MP3. And that's why when you get MP3s, sometimes they don't have the same richness maybe that you're used to if you listen to a WAV file. Although that's that can be something that people don't necessarily hear. It depends on how good your ear is and how closely you listen for quality and that sort. In our case, with our recordings, as you are singing for me to put them into a final version, MP3 is going to be fine. It's not going to affect the quality of your recording enough to make a difference that you should be using WAV instead. So MP3 is fine for you. WAV is also fine. And it's all going to come together in the final mix anyway. Okay, anyone have questions about that little lecture? Okay. So I'm scrolling and looking. All right, so let's now go over to, oh wait, it's probably time for another break. Is it time for a break? I'm looking for nodding heads, yes, okay. Yeah, after I talk that much, wait, before we do the break, I wanted to do one other thing about straw phonation, maybe more than one, but this one I want to do right now, and before we take a break. So.
Oh, the stage is empty. My chance at last. Hit it, boys.
Yes, that's Mark Hamill.
Animal, musical.
All right, thank you. Animal's my favorite. That was when Mark Hamill appeared on The Muppet Show early in the Star Wars era. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a break, 5 minutes. Okay. Whoops. Okay.
Hey Liz, looks like we've got a minute. Do you do Zeal?
I believe we can use Zelle. Yeah, I think my husband's used it from time to time for money transfers. Yes.
Okay. Now I don't think we can do it straight to the Savvy Bank because I couldn't find anything on their website that there's a way to transfer in. but I've done it. If you're comfortable with it, you can send the money to me. I could write a check and deposit it and then give you the receipt for it if that works.
Sure, that would be fine. Let me get a pen and paper. Let's see. Shuffle. Here we go. Now I can write down details.
Okay, I think you just need my phone number, don't you?
I think so.
Okay, I'll just type it here because it's okay if anybody else knows it, so.
Sure. There we go.
Okay.
Hooray, making things work. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you. Yeah, we always do, like, all of our banking and bills now are all by electronic transfer. We basically have automatic bill pay on everything, and we don't have a checkbook anymore. So
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I know, I think it's a millennial thing.
Well,
I just
actually,
can't
My
imagine.
son's the same way.
actually, I've done online banking for a long time for most of our
I
bills.
do.
We do still have a checkbook, but it's rare. We
Yeah.
use it for voice
I don't
lessons.
keep it. Yeah, I don't keep a check register, but I do have the checks to write once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I write one check a quarter because somebody won't take electronic payment. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right,
Adam,
yes.
Never mind. I had a question about the concert.
Okay.
So the concert that comes up, is it going to be I have two sisters in Wisconsin, one in Iowa, sister-in-laws in Tennessee, and my daughter in France. Can they hear me? Can they actually come to my concert?
Yeah, they can. That's great. That's the ticket. We should probably talk about that to the board. I should talk about that to the board tomorrow in terms of how we need to start actually promoting the concert and spreading the word. We do want to have some people attend besides our chorale, but it sounds like it has always been the case, after all, that a lot of our audience is our people, our family, our friends, that kind of thing, our coworkers. But I do want to make sure that we don't miss opportunities to invite people to come certainly from the Skagit Valley community itself, the larger community, and maybe even on a broader stage. I don't really know what our capabilities are. If we had thousands of people who wanted to attend, could we actually do that? I don't know. So these are things that we need to find out about. So anyway, but yes, we will have a concert, and it will be that opportunity when people who couldn't come to your concerts before because they were far away can this time. So, all right, let us switch over to Betelehemu. And while you're getting your music, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some things that I posted today on the website for Betelehemu. Okay, so I've added a few things today. A pronunciation guide. You're seeing the website. Bob, can you give me a thumbs up? You're seeing the website. Good, thank you. All right. So I have a pronunciation guide. This just goes word by word. Most of you won't need this probably because, and this is late to the game, I realize it would have been helpful to have this a couple weeks ago at least, but it will clarify for any of you unsure about how to pronounce the words. That's what that's for. Then for the sopranos, altos, and tenors, separately from the bass, speaking in rhythm. So this one has the rhythm. You know that the basses have a slightly different part at Nibola Biyesu, that part. And so that's why I decided to just make them be two separate tracks so that the basses are clear what their part is and everybody else is clear about theirs. In these two tracks here, oops, excuse me, that wasn't unintentional. in these 2 tracks, I speak through the rhythm at 3 different speeds. I start pretty slow, then go a medium rate, and then go a rate that's about a tempo that's about our final performance tempo. So that's a kind of a gradual thing. Then this tenor and bass study spots, I had these sitting in GarageBand for a week or 2, 3 weeks. These are places that I thought, oh, I could kind of coach you through. I could help you practice a little section of Betelehemu. And so that's what those are. I don't have anything for sopranos and altos at this point. I may not. I may have something for other songs, little spots that I help you work on there. But so these things are all available on the website. And I think that's what I wanted to tell you. Okay, but actually I wanted to show something else about Sing On, so I'm going to jump back over to that. Now there are more there are more tracks here on Sing On, which include both click tracks and practice guides. So the difference between them, say I'll play the alto practice guide. I'll jump here. Right. So that's got the alto part. It's got a little bit of the other parts in the background also. So you can hear the other parts. Also, it doesn't have the click. Now I'm going to play the click track for the altos. So now you can hear that there's a click there. There are no other voices in the click tracks. These click tracks are exactly what I used for the video click tracks. It could happen that you decided you didn't want to use the visual, or maybe you're having trouble with video. It's too big a file or something. You can't make use of it on your computer. You can use these audio click tracks and record yourself with that instead if you want to. That will work just the same. So that's an option for you, or you can use it for practice. I want to point out something about the click tracks. Part of, you might remember in my email a couple days ago, I said I wasn't happy with some of what I was doing on the click tracks. And I have a cowbell, right? And a little tiny hammer, and I go tick, 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 over and over and over again. Number one, there's a very specific moment that hammer hits the cowbell, and it has to be right with the beat of the accompaniment, which I may or may not be able to hear very well at that point anyway. So I was really having a hard time with the motor control, the muscle control of making that be regular. But then the other thing is, in the places where Stephanie slows down or speeds up a little bit, because we want to have retard in our songs, we want to have a little bit of that expressive musical shift in time, but I learned a lot about how much I rely on the visual for that. I'm usually, even if Stephanie and I aren't looking at each other, we use peripheral vision all the time, and I know where she is in the measure, and I know how she's approaching the slowing down of time for that retard, and then picking the time back up when we get back a tempo. But I have no cues for that when it's just audio. And boy, is it hard to keep track of that and to line up and to sound confident with my click at the same time. That was really hard for me. And so I did about, not full songs, but I did 24 takes to get those clicks right throughout the song. So that's why I had to go back and fix those, and I'm much happier with the results now. So those are the things that you can use. Please, you can tell me if there's something else that you need that would be useful that's not on there yet that I haven't thought of. These are the ways that I learn too, and that I figure out how to make the most possibility of success for you as you do these recordings. So keep me posted, give me feedback, tell me if something's not working. I need to know. And it's like, don't save my feelings. It's like, I need to know if it's not working, because I'm wasting a lot of time if it is not working. All right, so let's see. Right, Betelehemu, we need to look at a couple things. So the stagger breathing, I want to show you some stuff, just a few markings that I made. This is for the sopranos and altos, in particular in Betelehemu, in the slow beginning section. We've talked about stagger breathing before a little bit, but I want to go back and look at that. And then we're also going to practice recording, doing that beginning section. And it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But so here's what I'm going to do. I can share my screen again. And here to Betelehemu. You can see Betelehemu. Can somebody give me a thumbs up for that? Okay, thank you. Good. So all I really need to show you here is these blue lines for the sopranos and altos, and they go down here just a little bit. Okay. So those blue lines for me, as I'm thinking about it, those mark the places where you could stagger breathe successfully. So if you try to stagger breathe in a different spot, like over here, you are likely to not have enough time to be able to get out, take your comfortable breath, and get back in without saying a re or a ba at the wrong time. It's too hard. I can say it's too easy to let your rhythm kind of not be exactly right when you're trying to stagger breathe in the middle of changing pitches and changing syllables. So that's why I've chosen these long spots for you to choose from when you do your stagger breathing, if you need to do stagger breathing. So, for example, and this one actually is pretty early in the phrase, right? I counted this out, actually. Let's look at this way, sopranos and altos. So if we're counting in 2, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, ye-o, re, ba. That's about the right speed. I think I better check that. Let's see. Let's give us, pardon me for jumping around here. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So that's about the speed. So if we go back here, what I wanted to point out to you, sopranos and altos, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There are 15 counts, basically, in these phrases. In the last phrase, where you sing fehenti and you hold it forever there are about 25 counts in that phrase. So that gives you a picture of how long these phrases are and maybe how many times you need to divide it out with extra breaths. How long can you sing on one breath? If it's not 12 beats, then maybe you're going to need 2 breaths in this last phrase that goes through the 4th ending here. But meanwhile, going back to these first 3 phrases that all have 15 counts long, this is after the second and third beats. That's maybe too early. That may not actually help you to get through. This might be a little late. This might be the ideal one for everybody. So it may be that we find that everybody, when they're stagger breathing, is doing it in this spot. Even with that said, it's possible you could breathe on the front end of this or on the back end. So if I were to demonstrate a couple different ways, well, I'm going to do the alto part. So it'd be like this. I'm going to stagger breathe a couple times. 3, and you can do it with me if you want. 1 and 2. Awa-yo, ori-ba-ba-gbo-ju-le. Going to do it in a different place. Awa-yo, ori-ba-ba-fenti. Okay, I'm just doing that for examples. That time I did it in 2 different places in this long held syllable. And those 2 places, if I put those tracks on top of each other, they would cover each other. The breath in one would be covered by the tone in the other. So if you are breathing somewhere in that place, then try to do it either towards the beginning of the note or towards the end. Now, I'm not entirely happy with my demonstration of stagger breathing because it was pretty short. I didn't really take very much time to breathe. I probably should have taken more, but I didn't really need it, so it was hard to fake that. But if you find that you need it, then take more time to get that breath. Take time to let go of the old breath, because if you build breath on top of breath on top of breath and you're not letting it go, you're going to actually build up your tension level rather than letting it go. So in that way, a stagger breathing isn't going to help you. It's going to work against you. So this is something to practice. And I think I'd like to do that right now. But let's do this. Let's make it a practice for recording your part, just like we just did on Sing On. So have your phone ready. Let's do it again. So we get more practice at this. I'm turning my phone on. I'm accessing, actually I'm ready to press record a second time and I'll be ready to go. So now I'm going to, I don't have a video click track. That's right, I forgot. But I'll just help you through this anyway. We'll use the Logic Pro to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna make everybody live, I think. I'm gonna make all parts live. I'm not gonna keep the tenors and basses out or something like that. So see if you can pick your own part out. Know that when we do the actual video click tracks, it will be only one part at a time. But for this test right now, let's just do it as it is, okay? Let's see, what else do we need? So I'm gonna say, go ahead and start your recording device now. So I'm starting my recording device, pressing record twice, and away it goes. And I'm also, something I forgot to say on the video click tracks, but would be great if you did, and I'm definitely gonna want it for future songs, is say your name and the song and your part. This is Adam. I'm singing Sing On, tenor part. And then we go. Three. Betelehemu. I'm going to get out of the way and let you.
There's no audio, Adam.
Oh, crap. Okay. I was wondering why nobody seemed to be singing. It's like watching. It must be very interesting, like paint drying. Okay, I'm going to make a couple changes here, and you'll have sound here very shortly. Zoom aggregate. Assignment. There's a guy in Germany, England, I can't remember where he's from, that wrote a little book, actually a little booklet about how to make Zoom work for Logic Pro and other devices like it. Oh, and that was a problem. Okay, sorry. And I forgot to do the setting that I should have done before the rehearsal. Sorry, you have to wait for this. Finally, good, okay. So let's test it. Can you hear audio now? Wait, I gotta share it. So, oh, wait, yeah, I'm sharing it. You can hear the audio? Okay, good. All right, so that we'll just trash that recording, then we'll start this over again. So I'm assuming that everybody's gonna be singing with me this time because it's gonna work. Okay, so we start our recording devices, away they go, and I say, my name is Adam, I'm singing Betelehemu bass part.
1, 2. Sopranos, your first, altos, here's your first pitch.
Bottom drop out.
Betelehemu.
Okay, we'll stop there. So go ahead and stop your recording device. And if we were following through, we don't have to do that right now. You would change the title, change the file name to Betelehemu _ your voice part _ your name. And then you'd send that to me, you'd email that to me. Now, it's possible we'll get a way of submitting these audio tracks on the website, but I think sending email probably will end up being the easiest thing to do, and it's not going to take me that much time to deal with it that way, so I hope. So, so I think we'll probably call that a good way of sharing those files with me. So, but let's go back here and say, did people find that to be successful? Were you able to record along with? Did that work out? Any questions? Anything working not well? Okay. Looks like it's good. Okay, so you don't have to record Betelehemu yet. You could use the practice guide to record Betelehemu. It doesn't have a click, but it is exactly the tempo of the final performance. So you could jump in right now and sing Betelehemu and record that and submit it to me. However, I am going to go through the process of making video click tracks for Betelehemu. Maybe those will be ready by next Tuesday. And so you can use those, and I'll be conducting parts one at a time. I'll conduct the basses by themselves and the altos, tenors, sopranos, everybody else. So you can wait for that. There's no hurry on submitting these files, any of these files. It's also possible with Sing On, since that'll be our first opportunity for me to hear how you're doing on your recordings. It's possible that I will be sending back emails to some of you saying, okay, this isn't working, I can't hear you, you're too loud, you're not in sync with the recording, other possible problems that might come up. And so I'll ask those people maybe to do it again, and I'll tell you exactly what needs to be fixed in those situations to make it work. I expect that will happen with some people. It happened with the choir, and there were just things that came up. So we'll resolve those. And it's possible that you could decide, you know, I'm going to sing this better today. I wasn't feeling so well. I felt like I needed to send something on for Sing On, and so I just did it even though I wasn't feeling as well as I could. And maybe I could do that again. That's okay too. I'm going to stay open about that and give you the opportunity to submit what you feel good about. All right. So we have about 6 minutes left, and actually before we go on, I'm curious, sopranos, altos, did you experiment with stagger breathing that time through, and what did you find? How did that work? Anybody want to comment on that? You know, the teachers in the room know that you just wait, and you wait. You wait until somebody cracks and breaks and they say something.
Okay, I'll speak.
Nancy's a teacher.
It did make me think about where I was taking that stagger breath and knowing where the places were and to get back in before I shouldn't be.
Yeah, good. So, and thank you, Nancy. That's all I'm looking for, is that you're actually thinking about it and kind of making. Liz, did you have a question or a thought?
Oh, no, just not really, I guess. Thank you for the guidance markers and whatnot, the ideas. It is a little bit strange because to me, doing stagger breathing is something that just kind of happens naturally by paying attention to the people around you when you're in choir. So to stagger breathe by yourself on a recording, I mean, obviously we're going to breathe so they don't turn blue in the face and keel over in the comfort of your own home. But thank you for the little guidance and whatnot, the markings. It just makes me continue to think about the interesting part of your job in making sure that we do get adequate overlap in the end product of whatever people have managed to record. So
yeah, thank you for that. So I forgot to mention that another place that it's really important that people do stagger breathe, assuming they need it, is in that fourth phrase, the fehenti one that lasts 25 counts. Because if we have people going fehenti, you know, and they die like 2, 4, 6 beats before we've even gotten to the end of that phrase, I'm going to have a hard time kind of manufacturing choral sound if not anybody is singing by that point, or just a couple people. So that's, I didn't really show you that marking, but you need to find another place, probably on, what is it, on page 2. You don't have to look at that, but on that last phrase, so that you can finish that phrase with a reasonably good quality vocal tone. And when we have a cutoff there at the end of that fermata, we hear the difference between voices singing and nobody singing anymore. That was a joke. Anyway, so
Adam,
yes, go ahead.
I plan to mark in my stagger and practice it so that it becomes just part of me, so I don't have to think about it while I'm singing it.
Yeah, that is one good option. Be aware that you may feel differently on a different day, and breath is working today, and well, breath is not working today, etc. In which case you bring out your straw and you kind of reset yourself, right? Okay. So let's do this though. Let's speak through, before we leave today, let's speak through the rhythm of the fast part of Betelehemu. As I pointed out, there are practice guides for you to help you with that. And on those, on those pronunciation guides, I didn't do the slow part. I only did the fast part. So that's what you would have a chance to practice. But let's do that now. Page 3, starting at letter C, awa yori. I was going to do some rhythm. I've been meaning to do rhythm for like 3 weeks here to get you going. Let's do this. Next week, bring some sort of percussion instrument with you, or anything you can make a shaker, right? It doesn't have to be an actual percussion instrument. It could be a set of keys. It could be a pot. And what I want to do is just kind of work on the feeling of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really feeling that rhythm going, maybe being able to do that so that you're doing awa yo ri babak bojule, awa yo, and feeling the rhythm in your body while you're speaking it aloud at the same time. Okay, let's go ahead and letter C. No, we're going to do it slower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And letter C. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Awa yo ri baba bojule. Awa yo ri baba fehenti. Awa yo ri baba bojule. Awa yo ri baba fe. Nivola, nivola, vi, nivola, vi, nivola, ve, nivola, vi. Nivola, vi, Yesu, I switched. Nivola, vi. Here we are together. Betele, he, mui, luara. Nivela, vi, baba, odaju. Betele, he, mui, luara. Nivela, vi, baba, odaju. Ian, Ian, ni funo. Ian, 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 ni funo. Adupe funo. Adupe funo. Adupe funo. Jooni. Baba oloreo. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba anu. Baba todawashi. Etc. And you fade out. I love that 2 against 3 thing. Baba todawashi. It feels so good. I see Liz moving along with it. It's great. I love when you move your body to go with it. Usually it makes it easier. For some people it might make it harder, so you don't have to do it, but I encourage it. Let's do it a little faster. Here we are at page 3. Awa yori babak bojule. Gonna pick up the speed. 1 and 2. Awa yori babak bojule. Awa yori baba fehenti. Awaiori babak bojule. Awaiori. I'm going to go with the basses. Nivolabi. Nivolabi Yesu. Nivolag bebi. Nivolabi Yesu. Nivolabi Betelehemu iluara. Nivelabi baba odaju. Betelehemu iluara. Nivelabi baba odaju. Ian, Ian, Nifuno. Ian, 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 Nifuno. Adupe funo. Adupe funo. Adupe funo jooni baba oloreo. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba. Ian funo baba anu. Baba toda washi. Fading out. Okay, good. All right, so I was thinking about singing that today too, but we are out of time, and that's fine. So, because Betelehemu is behind the Sing On in the process of adding recordings. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but Eric Jeffords, our tenor, has sent me some first run-throughs, some first recordings of him singing the solo on Christmas Memories. It's a very different sound than Michael McGlynn, who is the Irish guy who's the founder of Anuna and wrote the music and sang the solo, and the one that you hear. He's got a lovely voice and a very sweet, tender approach. Eric's is a little bit, it's got a little more engine behind it, a little more Lamborghini engine rather than, I don't know, I'm not sure this metaphor is helping me. Never mind. But anyway, so Eric has a different quality to it, but I asked him, I said, it's really important that we have the tenderness and we have that emotional quality to the solo, even as he does it in a different way. But what he's doing, I love, and I'm looking forward to, we're working on some issues. He had some problems with clipping on his vocal part. He was too loud for his recorder, so we have to adjust the gain. We have to adjust how much the volume level, essentially, of the recording. And after that, then probably his recordings in the future will be fine. And then I can record my vocal parts, your vocal parts on top of that, and we can start working on that. Solstice Song, Stephanie has done 3 takes of her playing the accompaniment, and I haven't started to put those together, but that's now that I got the video click track done for Sing On, and you can be occupied with that for a while, then I can start working on that too. So it's coming, and Peace, Peace. Here's what I was going to do. I know I'm a little bit late. This is what I wanted to do before we left. I want to sing one time through Peace, Peace with straw phonation. You don't have to do it with straw phonation, but it'll be good for you. I don't remember what key it's in. Anybody tell me? Ruth, do you? Or somebody's got music there in front of them. Wait. It's on my computer somewhere. It's a scan. I can just pick a key, any key. How about that one? Peace, peace, peace on earth and goodwill. And it'll be interesting to see where you want to breathe, isn't it? Okay. All right, so I'm going to mute you all, and we'll do peace. Here we go. 1. Going to give you 2 measures. 1, 2. Okay, that's enough of that. So I hope that was as enjoyable for you as it was for me. And I really want to sing it with you all, but we'll just have to wait for that. Okay, Jean, you got a comment.
When can we get the sheet music for the other two songs?
Oh, good question. Okay, so that would be Solstice Song and Peace Peace? No, Solstice Song and Christmas Memories?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, there's an example of something that I need to know that I didn't know. I just didn't even think about it. I figured, of course you have it. I have it. You don't have it? Right, I haven't made it available. So I have the scans for that music. I can put those up in tonight on the website easily. So I will do that. Okay, good. Thank you for asking that question. Any other questions before we go? Right, so unmute and say hi and bye and thank you to everyone.
Good night.
Hi and bye, and thank you.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Lovely week.
Everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Ruth and Mark.
Carolyn.
Hi, Debbie.
Bye-bye.
Have a good
Good
one.
morning.
And adieu. Adieu.
Hang on and prosper.
To you and you and you.
Hey, Kurt and Janice, good to see you.
Hello.
Hi, Adam.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
Yep,
I
my
finally got
pleasure.
my video working.
Excellent.
I finally got the computer working.
Excellent. Good, good.
I don't know if I'm going to get anything recorded or not. Between the computer pooping out on me and my phone pooping out on me and wacky internet, I'm never sure what's going to work.
Sure.
But I keep listening.
Good, good.
So,
give it a try. Give it a try.
I will.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Any other questions from those left in here? Just hanging on to see the last possible one. Brian, Kelly, how you guys doing?
Fine.
Good.
Weird.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go ahead. You're going to close down. Okay. So am I. I'm going to close down. Good night, everybody. Thank you.